This is one of our models for the skeletal muscle fiber. We have two models. I call them the white base model and the green base model. This is clearly the green base model. They're similar, but they have some key differences, which is why we use both models in this class, because as always, when we have two models for something, the one model is better at identifying certain structures than the other model. So you can see that this is part of a skeletal muscle fiber, just like the other model is. But there's one huge difference that I want to point out and make it clear to you. So if you listen to the white base skeletal muscle fiber model video already, you will know that each of these cylinders is a myofibril. So there are only a few of them. They're giant. And also remember, these are transverse tubules, sarcoplasmic reticulum. Those are not on this model. So on this model, the myofibrils are tiny. This is actually more to scale than the other one, but each of these tiny little rods then is one myofibril. So I actually don't even use this model to point out a myofibril. I use the other one because it's a whole lot more obvious. So this smooth area here is the sarcolemma, and you can see here and here and here. These are nuclei. Here's another one there and here. Nuclei of the muscle fiber, and you have to say nucleus of a muscle fiber if I ask you about this on the test, because there are multiple cells on this model that I haven't really gotten to yet, but I will in a minute. So again, if I'm pointing to a nucleus, you have to say nucleus of the muscle fiber, or in this case, nucleus of a Schwann cell. So you don't know about this yet unless you've moved ahead to the next chapter. But in the next chapter, you're going to learn that this whole structure here is a motor neuron. Remember, where the motor neuron comes close to the muscle fiber, the sarcolemma, is called a neuromuscular junction. So this area right here is a neuromuscular junction. And that means that this area and this area are axon terminals of the motor neuron. Here's the axon of the motor neuron. It's real small, and it's wrapped in a myelin sheath. You'll learn in the next chapter that myelin sheaths are made of Schwann cells. So this nucleus right here, and there's another one over here, these are nuclei of the Schwann cells. And again, you don't have to identify that in this chapter, but you will on the test, and the test combines both this chapter and the next chapter. So I'm going ahead and pointing it out to you now. So you can see that this axon right here of the motor neuron splits into three. Here is an axon terminal, and there was an axon terminal here, but they removed it. And when they remove it, you can see these foldings in the sarcolemma. These are called junctional folds. And then if you turn it to the side, you can see the axon terminal, and then these here and here, then white, those are all junctional folds. They're a part of the sarcolemma. Once again, each of these little tiny rods is a myofibril, and if you turn the model on its side, you can clearly see striations. So you see this dark band, dark band, dark band, alternating light, dark, light, dark, light, dark bands. The dark bands are the A bands, the light bands are the I bands, and then bisecting right down the center of the I bands is a black line. The black line starts up here and goes all the way down here. They separate adjacent sarcomeres, right? So those are Z discs. The black line is a Z disc. And then I don't think I mentioned yet the endomysium, which is superficial to the sarcolemma here. And then just a reminder that a couple of things that you see on the other model, you will not see on this, like transverse tubules and sarcoplasmic reticulum. So from, I think I said this, but just in case I didn't, from Z disc to Z disc, that is one sarcomere. And then here's another sarcomere, here's another sarcomere, here's another sarcomere.